Good morning, gamers, gators, and grapefruits. I am Sid, and this is a special edition of All Fun, No Funds, Gaming Without a Budget. I am trapped in a bunker with an unknown number of demos because NextFest just dumped a few hundred down my chimney, and I'm still trying to sort through the chaos. So let's just jump into ranking the ones I've already played. Ballionare is getting a spotlight here at the top of the video because I didn't play it during any of my stream sessions last week, but hot damn, does this pachinko-style deck-building roguelike have a special sauce. I've played for hours chasing the high of this. So yeah, that goes in my special sauce tier. Following along that theme of deck builders with a lot of RNG, I played Cats and Dice during my second stream on Catterday, and it didn't quite have the same explosion of dopamine as Ballionare, but it gets bonus points for giving the player a larger sense of agency. Clearly Balatro inspired, but still very much its own game and very well executed. Special Soup. Let's keep rolling with those cat-themed games. Cat Tree was an idle game that I came back to between my other Catterday games. One of the breeds was bugged and generated way too much currency, but it did let me completely fill my tree with cats in under 6 hours. Right now, the cats aren't interactive once they're adopted, other than renaming them, so let's just say this does what it says on the tin. I also wish Cat Tree was themed more like fostering and adopting out cats rather than buying and selling, but that's my personal cat guy perspective. Ranking it what it says on the tin. Oh right, let's go over that tier list really quick. At the top, Special Sauce. It's cooking with something grand. Almost certainly on my wish list, and will get first dibs when there's room in my entertainment budget. Below that, Special Soup. I'm not a soup guy, so this is for games that are doing great and have my attention, but not my full loyalty right now. Then we have Ooh, Call Me, for games that I like but need to do a little more to win me over. This tier and the last are games that I'd look to pick up on sale. What it says on the tin. Here we'll put games that look like they're hitting their targets and generally feel good to play, and while I would support other people buying them, they aren't a great fit for my library personally. Come back in 4 to 6 months, games that I think have promise but need more development, polish, or content before I can truly recommend them. And who? Reserved for games that didn't hit for me. Back to the cat games. Cat Survivors. Vampire Survivors, but cats. Cute graphics, good feeling gameplay, and does its own thing with the mechanics and skill tree. Ooh, Call Me. Cat Guardian. Card-based tower defense and survival game. 2 different game modes, with cats defending their colony against zombies. I didn't get to spend quite enough time with this one to land on my feet with it, but I definitely enjoyed the mechanics, so I'd have to play a little more to see if it's a difficult game or a skill issue. Come back in 4 to 6 months with a tweaked learning curve and tutorial. Cat Test Lab, and the full game is titled Never Experiment on Cats. Cat-shaped, skill-based party game. I enjoyed some of the minigames more than others. Absolutely 100% will be a great time to romp around with friends, especially ones that don't get motion sick in first-person games. Ooh, Call Me. 9 Lives Ninja, another Survivors style, but didn't gel as well as Cat Survivors. It's got activated abilities, which generally aren't my favorite in this type of game. What it says on the tin. Let's take a break from cats and round up the other Survivors styles in NextFest that I've played. Necromancer's Revenge. I made a full video on this one a couple weeks back and got to defeat the Demon Lord with an army of cat summons. Special Soup. Oh, I guess this did still fit in the cat block, in a way. Scrap Age Survivors. Who? I liked the visual style and wanted to enjoy this game, but the gameplay was just not dynamic enough or fun. It's got a big map, which is nice, but it feels too much like a direct clone of Vampire Survivors. The meta progression is super slow, and I just spent too much time walking in small circles waiting for something to happen. From Survivors to Survival, let's talk about Wild Planet. My play experience was really buggy and a little confused, but ooh, Call Me. This has a really small dev team and needs a little bit more time to bake, but I think it has potential to be a special soup or even a special sauce game once they smooth out the onboarding experience and maybe let me look a little further into the distance. Prospector. Special sauce, hands down. One of the games I went back and played a bunch after streaming it. Highly recommended if you like crafting, gathering, and running from exploding crab things. Cute art, fun writing, and some fresh mechanics. I'm looking forward to what will be unlocked in the full game. Luma Island. Special Soup. This might look a little gentle to be called a survival game, but I'm including it here because I did die in it. The demo lasts for 5 days, and I've already played it 3 times. This isn't my ideal game, but it does share lots of traits with my ideal game. There's an essay in my head about the difference between having gaming as a hobby and having a specific game as a hobby, and I think Luma Island wants to be part of the second category. And it's co-op. Another co-op game I died in a bunch, Wildwoods. Ooh, call me. The difficulty is what's keeping me from calling this special soup. I have a suspicion that playing with friends would improve my opinion of this quite a bit, because there are a lot of moving pieces, including Rosie, the ancient goat, who makes some sections into auto-scrollers, so as a solo player, there was a lot for me to manage by myself. Throwing Croaktopia into come back in 4 to 6 months. I played this before NextFest, link to that video up in the corner. Lots of details in this game piqued my interest. The dissected frog character sheet, the vastly different loadouts starting as different characters. But I spent too much of my playtime confused and frustrated, especially with the crafting system. Does BioWeaver count as a survival game? Action survival roguelike? Anyways, it's up in special sauce. Like Croaktopia, you're grafting different body parts onto your being, but the systems are deeper and much better explained. I did have a few bugs that soft-locked me requiring game restarts, but it's a demo and I'm not going to dock it points just for that. If you made me pick between this and Winnie's Hole for my favorite grotesque roguelike of the quarter, I'd break down and cry and call you a bad friend. Another game I died in, Robots at Midnight, also in special sauce. This was my first Souls-like ever, and I loved running around bonking robots with my giant wrench. I was a bit of an idiot during my playthrough, so if you watch the VOD, there are chapter markers to skip ahead to where I fixed my graphics settings and where I learned how to equip consumables. And it's so gorgeous. My videos do not do it justice. Run, don't walk. I only played 2 other robot games, so let's knock those out. Tiny Robots Portal Escape. This is a cute game targeted for younger gamers. The art is good, the game feels solid, but neither the puzzles nor the story engaged me. I think I was most excited for the minigame arcade I found at the end. Not a bad game, but I'm not its target audience. It's what it says on the tin. Robot Detour. I didn't feel at all challenged until more than halfway through the demo, but this will still land in ooh, call me. Because even though it feels targeted at a younger demographic than I'm in, I like the mechanics and the game does a good job of teaching me techniques that I'll need to incorporate into future levels. One to watch. Let's continue our puzzle game era. Squid Grid was my first NextFest stream. Simple graphics, but the puzzles got challenging enough that I skipped one. If you have a deep appetite for Sokoban games, put this on your list. It's not my genre though, so I'm logging it as what it says on the tin. The main puzzle in Planet Pioneers is how to get a higher score than you did the previous round when placing structures on a hex grid planet. Description-wise, it's exactly what it says on the tin, but I love that it's on a globe, and it's really well made, so this gets dunked into the special soup. Isle of Birds is also a puzzle about strategically placing things down. Birds this time. And this one should, ooh, call me. The RNG aspect of the birds wandering around is delightful, but also infuriating. But also delightful in how infuriating it is. I feel like I was working with wild animals that had a mind of their own, but that also means that my score doesn't truly reflect my strategic puzzle abilities. From one bird game to another. 30 Birds. It's tagged as adventure, but based on my playtime, it's closer to interactive fiction. The art was phenomenal, the writing is memorable, but the phone UI was a little bit buggy, and I expected more puzzle solving and a little more density of gameplay than the demo offered. There were a handful of interactive elements, but only one really felt like puzzle solving. It's on the special soup menu, but based on the demo, go in for the immaculate vibes, not for a challenge. How Spirit Cat was explicit about being a visual novel, and it should, ooh, call me. It's not fully translated at the moment, and what I played was definitely somber and melancholy, and I don't think those parts are going to change in the full game, but it was very well done. The minigames are not peak gameplay, but again, that's not what I went in for. Another visual novel, or rather, visual short story collection, Some Goodbyes We Made. Special sauce. Hands down. Video games are an art form. Play the demo to feel something. I will not be taking questions at this time. Some Goodbyes We Made is great. Two more with a narrative focus and a bit more gameplay. First, Fruitbus. I did a full video for this prior to NextFest. A lot to like about this one, but it's another one where I feel like I'm not the target audience. I'm more sad that I feel too old for this game than sad that this game is aimed at younger gamers. Fruitbus should, call me, because I'm keen to explore the world and the game mechanics, even if I'm not invested in the NPCs. I'd bump it up to special soup if the googly eye headlights were properly Magic School Bus cartoony. Morgan Metal Detective also has a lot of promise, especially being from a 2-person dev team, but the demo was very short, like 12 minutes short. It left me wanting more, but I was unsatisfied rather than having a whetted appetite. Maybe this is a sign that the whole game will also be short? The concept is cool and the metal detecting mechanic is neat, so I'm hoping the whole game will last 3 to 4 hours to really let me enjoy the world. Where to rank it? Come back in 4 to 6 months. I can't tell yet if I'm gonna love the whole game. Now how about a game about seeking with a much darker story? Planet Scanner. This one started small and got more interesting as I played through the 5-day demo. I think that it might have special soup potential, but right now it should definitely, call me. Black Submarine. Also a game about darkness that evolves as you go on. From what I played, it has a good progression, but it didn't have anything specific that grabbed me. Maybe because I didn't get to any octopus levels? I don't know if there are octopus levels. Overall, it does what it says on the tin. 10 games left. Time for a lightning round. Catnip Dreams. Bouncy kitty platformer that requires a lot of precision. Once I got to the titular catnip, it was too confusing for me to get any farther. Does what it says on the tin. Chloe the Cat. Another kitty platformer. I can't remember any specific highlights or lowlights about the mechanics. Platformers are not my forte, but this one does what it says on the tin. Laser Battle Cats, however, should call me. It's quite silly. I didn't take a lot of time on stream to figure out the advanced mechanics of rotors and lasers, so I bet it could get even sillier. Give this one a shot. Top Gnome. Silly arcade action game. You're always spinning, and every time you shoot your blunderbuss, it accelerates you backwards. Yep, it does what it says on the tin. I didn't enjoy the difficulty curve, but I won't yuck your yum. 2 games that I didn't play on stream that oddly have a lot in common. Check out Cashier Simulator. Scan groceries and Tetris them into bags. Another short demo that's just playing one overtime shift at a time. Nothing is adding depth, but it's a nice little loop. Actually, I don't know if it is a loop because it's just do the one thing. But still, take my number, call me later. I'd like to try this again when I can get some of the character and story experience. Lost But Found. Also a colorful job sim about helping other people with their belongings. I loved organizing things on my table, and the upgrades you can buy between days were really well priced. I followed the straight and narrow and didn't deal with the black market, so there's a lot to explore here. It's got some special soup going on. 2 more games I played before NextFest. I am the Registered Environmental Engineer. This is a pro-environmental tower defense game that I played last month, and spent a bunch of time on playing after the video was already finished, and I still never got to the end of the demo. Into the soup. SwinGrove. Another one from pre-NextFest. It's a gentle physics-based platformer? Quite relaxing gameplay experience that never made me feel bad about flinging myself out of the tree. Soup. And lastly, 2 games I discovered through NextFest that each made their own impression on me. Blacksmith, Ignite the Forge. Simple on its face, but I think there's something really cool going on. The forging mechanics are fun to engage with, and the economy seems really well balanced. I found myself playing longer than anticipated. This might be special sauce, special soup, somewhere between the tiers, special gravy maybe? I can't put my finger on any specific thing that it's missing, but it feels like there's something that could lock this in and make it feel like way more than the sum of its parts. Last of all, but certainly not least, Trash Goblin. I feel like the only disappointing thing about this game was the limitation on the decoration options. Oh, and that I couldn't add a dagger blade to the Goblin mask. Good writing, fun to play, and the cleaning and chiseling mechanics were very satisfying. After it releases next month, I'll be happy to give this game a weekend of my time. And there you have it. There's the tier list. Game titles are in the description in the order they were mentioned, and here's a link to my playlist of content from this October's NextFest. All the streams that feature more than one game, like the Catterday streams, have chapters marking out where each game starts. Wow, that was a bunch of games, but I'm not slowing down now. There's a week left of spooky season and 2 more months to hit my goal of 100 games by the end of the year. Granted, if we count all the streamed games, I'm up to 66, but I have more than 10 times as many demos down here in the bunker. But hopefully they're not all in my bed because the bunker's turning out the lights, and I have to say good night.